Okay, let's quickly check what you need to know in equations and inequalities. The different types of things you need to be able to do is, the first thing is you must be able to solve a linear equation. This you've been doing since grade 9. A linear equation is when there is just an x in the equation, like x plus 9 is 4x minus 6. This is linear, there's just x's in, right? So what I do with linear is I bring all of the x terms to one side of the equal sign. So I'm going to transpose this one, and then the minus 6 I leave there. I'm going to transpose the 9 to that side, right? So I bring all of the x terms to one side and all of the number terms to the other side. Then I just add the like terms. So x minus 4x is minus 3x, and minus 6 minus 9 is minus 15, and then from there you simplify. So here this is x times minus 3, so I can divide with negative 3 and divide with negative 3. Negative divided by negative is positive, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. Right, so divide by negative 3 both sides, I get x is 5. This is the basic procedure for linear, which is when there's just a x. Right, so let's look at the next type of question that you must be able to do. It's quadratic. Right, quadratic is when there is a x squared in the equation. X squared plus 5x is equal to 24, say for instance. Okay, right, so when I have a quadratic, so there can also be a x in here, but there's also a x squared. When I have quadratic equation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring, unlike there where I group x's and numbers, in this scenario quadratic, I bring everything to the same side and 0 on the other side. So I'm going to just bring that 24, transpose it also to this side, so that all of the terms are on one side. It can be left or right, it doesn't matter. But all of the terms are on one side, 0 on the other side. Right, then this everything that I have here, I'm going to factorize. Whether it is highest common factor, difference of squares, all of those ones that we looked at. Any type of factorization, most commonly it will be a trinomial, but it can also be difference of squares or highest common factor or grouping or cubic or whatever, right? So then I'm going to factorize this, and I list the factors of 24. I'm just going to quickly sum and list them here. 24, 12 times 2, 3 times 8, and I see sum 3 times 8 is going to give me the 5. I list them so that the factors gives me negative 24, which this can be positive 8 times negative 3 gives me negative 24, but also negative 8 times positive 3 also gives me negative 24, but in the middle I'm looking for plus 5, and that will be accomplished by having plus 5 and minus 3. The other one was 4, 6 that I didn't finish listing, but plus 8 and minus 3, plus 8 times minus 3 is going to give me minus 24, and then the plus 8 minus 3, when I add them, is going to give me this plus 5. Right, so I'm just going to put in the brackets x plus 8 and x minus 3, and then that gives me equal to 0, and then I'm going to use what is called the zero factor law. The zero factor law says if two things in math are multiplied with one another and it gives me 0, one of the two things must be 0. So this is two brackets multiplied with one another, it gives me 0. One of these brackets must be 0. So x plus 8 is 0, or x minus 3 is 0, and then x is minus 8, or x is equal to 3. Right, just by the way, they can also ask just this from here onward as a question separately. They like to ask that like as the very first algebra question in departmental papers. It's a good thing to take note of, even up until grade 12. So they have already gotten all of the terms on one side like here and then factorized it. They're just checking whether you know the zero factor law. So they can just give you as a question 2 brackets is equal to 0 and then you just write down the two answers. It's not necessary to now multiply this in and then factorize again. You're going back and forth. If you multiply out, you should get this one and then you factorize again, then you're back here. So if they give it to you like this, then you can just use the zero factor law and just write down the answers. Right. If it's 2 brackets multiplied and say for instance it's 9, then you have to, because it's not already factorized with 0 there, it's some value, then you have to multiply in these brackets, bring the 9 this side so that you can combine all of the terms before you factorize it again, and then the factors will be different than these. But if it's already factorized and equal to 0, they've done the process up until here and you can just do the last step basically. Okay. So these are the equations that you must be able to do, linear, quadratic, and then also from the exponents chapter, you must be able to do exponential equations. So exponential equations is when there's an x in the exponent. This is something like 5 to the power of x plus 1 is equal to 1 over 125, and the aim here with an exponential equation, this is when the x lies in the exponent, the aim is to try and get how many steps I take to get there, but the aim is to try to get the bases the same, so that this is 5 to the power of and this is also 5 to the power of something, right? When I have the bases the same, then I just make the exponents equal and then I can solve the x. So let's quickly look at this 125. If you press shift fact on your calculator or do the prime factor ladder, either one is fine, is 5 to the power of 3. And if you want to compare 1 over 5 with 5, it's not a bad idea to maybe just bring that 5 up using this negative exponent law. Bring the 5 up, make the exponent negative, so that this is equal to this, and then x plus 1 is equal to negative 3, and then I'm going to transpose the 1, so x is negative 4. The space is up here, but okay. Those are the equations that you need to be able to do, all of those different types. And then we also did something called simultaneous equations this year, which is also something that you need to be able to do. Oh, I forgot the one with fractions, right? So the equations with fractions, it's something like that. Okay. Right, so how the fractions equations work is, first of all, if there's numbers in the denominators, the bottom part of the fraction, then if there's just numbers, no x's, then you can just multiply with every one that's there. Okay? So the lowest common multiple is everything that's present there. So there's an x present, and there's a x plus 1 present. And if this lowest common multiple just contains numbers, you just multiply every single term with that lowest common multiple, right? And then simplify from there. If the lowest common multiple contains x's, then you also need to put in some restrictions. Restrictions are so that the denominator, which is something I'm dividing with here, is not 0, né? So x cannot be 0, that denominator there, and x plus 1 can also not be 0. Ne? So x cannot be negative 1. So x cannot be 0 and x cannot be negative 1, because that would make this whole equation invalid. Ne? because if I make x 0, this, if I type 2 over 0 in my calculator, is going to give me math error. Then after that I can type whatever I like, the calculator is going to give me math error because this does not exist. Or if I make x negative 1, here 2 over negative 1 is negative 2, not a problem. But if I make x negative 1 here, I'm going to have 3 divided by 0, not allowed. So that's going to make the whole equation invalid. So the restrictions is just to tell me that, okay, no, but I'm going to solve for x, but I must just remember x cannot be 0 and x cannot be negative 1. The lowest common multiple is x times x plus 1. I'm going to multiply every single term with x plus 1 on the top, né? X with x plus 1, because if I multiply with x times x plus 1, this is on top of the fraction as over 1. I don't write the over 1, but it is on top of the fraction, right? So I multiply every single term with this lowest common multiple with the hopes that this denominators will cancel out, all of them. If not, then I didn't set up my lowest common multiple correct, or I multiplied wrong somewhere, right? But this x and this x will cancel, and this x plus 1 will cancel with that x plus 1, right? And there's nothing to cancel, it's just a multiplication problem there, né? So what do we have? That cancelled, I'm left with the 2 and the x plus 1. So 2 times x plus 1 is left in this term. Then there's a plus. Then here I'm left with the 3 and the x. So 3x. And then here I'm left with 2x times x, which is 2x squared, times x plus 1. 2x squared times x plus 1. Right. And after this, the rest of the equation is stuff that you should be comfortable with from now on, or this is not stuff that should scare you, right? I'm going to multiply in brackets, which products is something that you should be very comfortable doing. Then I'm going to check, is this linear, is this quadratic? And remember, we talked about the different methods for solving linear and quadratic. I'm just going to multiply that in. And then you decide, is this linear or is this quadratic, and then depending on what it is, you're gonna then do that procedure. And I see x cubed here, which is not something that we've discussed. That is my fault. Oh, that is my fault. Okay, because I just made up my own example here. Now I didn't use one of the textbook, and then sorry about that. The one that I created now as a x cubed, which you're not supposed to be able to solve yet. Okay, so we can fix that. We can just take out the x there. Right, so let's just make it, the question was from the beginning is equal to 2. Okay, then that would have been 2 times x, which is not 2x squared, it's just 2 times x. Okay, and this is now better, because you're not supposed to be able to solve cubic yet. 2x times x is 2x squared and 2x. Right, and then now I'm going to be taking everything to one side, which I'm not going to talk through all of the steps now. I'm simply going to take it to this side, the right hand side, because the x squared term is positive here on this side, and I don't want to take it that side where it's negative. That just complicates matters too much, né? But I'm not going to go through all of the steps. What I basically did is I jumped the 2x, I jumped the 2, I jumped the 3x, and then I added the like terms. So 2x minus 2x minus 3x, that gives me minus 3x, and the minus 2, that, because that you're supposed to be able to do. And this one, this is the advanced trinomial type. You also should be able to do that one. So please make sure that you know how to do that one. I'm just going to quickly somewhere do that. Okay, and then after I did that, now I can solve this by saying, okay, this bracket, this is now zero factor law, né? This bracket is equal to 0, or this bracket is equal to 0, and then you can solve this one, transpose the 1, divide by 2, divide by 2 there, so x is negative a half, or on this side just transpose the 2, x is equal to 2. Right, okay, so the two answers that I got is negative a half and 2, and if I think of my restrictions, it's not any of those, so those are both valid answers and I can leave my answer like that. If one of these answers is one of your restrictions, you can just say this was minus 1, it's not, but say this was minus 1 as an answer, then you just cancel that answer as an answer because it's a restriction, right? Then the answer will only be 2, not minus 1 or 2. But since this one, it is negative 1 over 2, it's a valid answer, it's not one of those. Okay, right. And then the last thing is the simultaneous equations that you must be able to do. Simultaneous equations, it is the types of equations that has two equations, like say for instance 2x plus 3y is equal to minus 4, and then they also give you an equation x minus y is equal to, say for instance 3. Okay, right, it looks like this, and please go through this so that you know there's two methods, method of substitution, method of elimination. I'm just going to show you the method of substitution, it's the one I prefer, but either method that you use, it's fine. I don't think they will ever tell you you must use this method or you must use that method. Either method that you use is fine. The method works like this. You can start on that side, but this equation is quite complicated. This one is quite easy, so I'm going to start on this side. You can start on either side and you can get the x or the y alone, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to start on this side and I'm going to get the x alone, make x the subject of this equation, right? So I'm going to transpose the y. If I make x the subject, that just means x is now alone in terms of y. So make x the subject of the equation and then bring it that side. Right, in the place of the x now, I'm going to put 3 plus y, because I said here x is 3 plus y. 3 plus y, x, it's the same thing. So I have 2 times 3 plus y, and that I'm just going to now solve. So I'm first going to multiply in that bracket, which is hopefully something that you're very comfortable with. And then 2y plus 3y is 5y, like terms, and transpose the 6 to the other side. It's minus 4 minus 6. So 5y is negative 10. I'm just going to solve this however you do that, as long as you know you get the x or the y alone on either side. I started this side and I got the x alone, right? Because to get the y alone, there's a negative in front. I'm going to jump the x, but then I'm also going to have to divide with a negative, and that's not as easy as just jumping the y and the x is alone. But whatever, you get the x or the y alone on either side, and then that you substitute on the other side, and then you simplify, which the process of simplifying takes a few steps, but it should be natural for you to get from the one step to the next until you found the y. And once you found the y, if you got the y alone here, you're going to find the x here. But okay, when you found the answer this side, then you bring it back this side. So last I was here, I knew that x is 3 plus y, but now I also know that y is negative 2. So 3 minus 2, and that is equal to 1. Right, and that is simultaneous equations. This is all of the types of equations that you have. And then lastly, because we're putting in some extra questions on exponents, is please just go through the exponential laws and some of the examples in your book on the exponent simplification also, because there's going to be some questions on that. But that is the entire scope